Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to another fun-filled evening here in the fallen city of Waterdeep. Hopefully you can all hear me, and hopefully the audio problems that we had at the top of last week's show are just a thing of memory, a troublesome time now forgotten. But as far as troublesome times are concerned, narratively we are in one. As we will briefly go over what happened in our last episode. For those of you that are just joining us, this is the Forgotten Realms of Wizards of the Coast fame, the world that has been created for the past several decades. It has been built brick by the Almighties, as Elminster and the Blackstaff have created and conjured worlds of wonder. And we are tearing it all down. This is the Fall of Faerun. This is a Forgotten Realms, truly forgotten, as an undead horde, a zombie apocalypse has descended upon civilization. It has destroyed everything that has been built. Clerics cannot stop them. Divine magic holds no purchase upon this horde. It is simply death. But amidst the stories of death and the wave of the apocalypse, there are the singular moments where honor and heroism are either defined or forgotten. And we are dealing with a group that gets to make that definition. As we have several members of the orphanage by the being known as Mother, formerly Lady Winthrop. This woman has, for the past several hundred years, raised any child brought to her, regardless of race or identification. She has taken them in with only one sentence and statement upon the delivery of these forgotten children in the Forgotten Realms. When she sees them brought to her doorstep, she will say, "You found them. You found my child." And all of these PCs, the ones that are active and the ones that have passed and the ones that are to come, have a relationship to Mother, whether they view her as truly their parent or someone to protect. They are comrades in arms, not just because of the apocalypse, but because of that which came before it, because of a sense of purpose and a sense of family. But is that enough? At the end of our last episode, Ortis, the noble barbarian, protecting the flank and the rear of the retreating children in the stagecoaches, the PCs defending this escape train, fell before the might of the undead horde, becoming one of their number. Quickly, another rose to prominence as Tyson took over and helped to get Stagecoach 4 rerouted around an obstruction. But brief was Tyson's involvement, but meaningful it was, as they too gave their lives to protect the flank, to protect the rear guard. And as Tyson the Artificer conjured a turret to drag down these zombies into whatever death comes after true death, he too fell. But not to them and not to become them, but with an explosion, one that took not just him, but his sibling Ortis. And so as the dust clears and as the walls have collapsed and as the rear guard has been established, mechanically, all of the children under the care of RPCs are safe. Relatively. All of the stagecoaches, 4 in number, are still functional and working. If you're keeping score at home, which D&D isn't something you keep score with, but survival is, they are batting 1,000 despite the losses of Ortis and Tyson. In fact, you might say they're batting 1,000 because of Ortis and Tyson. But that was then, and this is now. And the past has been rediscovered so the future can be. And as we drill back down into what is, or what was, the City of Splendors, Let's bring back in our cast. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope that everyone can hear you. And I will start, of course, with Lauren, as I always do, my mischief maker in arms, and currently someone that's just leveled up. Lauren, how are you?
Feeling good. Feeling good, Greg. Feeling confident, which is probably unwise, but hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to just do what I do anyway. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter, she, her pronouns, and today I'm playing Zephrine, who is an Air Genasi druid, who is currently in Mama Wolf form, Mama Dire Wolf to be exact, and getting some kids reunited with the group, feeling pretty good about, air bending, but mostly filled with a lot of fucking determination. That's what's happening right now.
It's the best kind of determination to be filled with in the apocalypse, everybody. So if you're making a survival kit of your own, make sure you pack plenty of fucking determination. As we drop down to Audrey, my friend, how are you? Who will you be playing? And where do we find them at this very moment?
I am worried, but not too worried. We'll get through it. Positive thinking, I'm sure will be enough. Clearly. I am playing Aspen. They are a centaur paladin, and they are currently, along with Zephrine, running ahead of a stagecoach that we have collected all the children from. We are carrying them desperately. We weren't sure that stagecoach was going to make it, so we didn't take our chances. So that's where we're at.
Gotcha. Excellent. So we have fleeing the scene of the stagecoach. We will jump over Mal right now as we go to Jordan. Jordan, welcome back, my friend. Who will you be playing, and where are they at this moment in time?
Thank you. I am playing Veneris. He is a variant tiefling, 1-level warlock, 4 levels ranger. He is currently sitting in coach number 3 with Z and Ketz. He's feeling real nervous, but he's putting on that little show of everything's fine, even though the world's burning.
Fantastic. And if you're packing your fucking determination, put in your happy smile beside it, because the apocalypse can't handle either. As we jump up to the third thing the apocalypse can't handle, Jason, how are you, my friend? Who will you be playing, and where are they at this particular moment in time?
Again, I will be running Father Strider, the somewhat stoic, wise monk with a past, who does not relish beating the crap out of zombies, but particularly ones that used to be members of the clergy. But he must do what he must for Mother. So he is here. He is surprisingly, well, to others, surprisingly calm. To himself, this is just what he is.
Fantastic. And as all of you are where you've described yourselves to be, stoic and smiling and fucking determined, we cut now instead to a point in time where, and I see in chat, yes, Mal, it's confusing with two Mal. So I'm going to go with Mal V, or Malvolio, as I'm going to pronounce you fully, as we don't get anybody confused. But Mal V, as you are drilled in to put you into the narrative as Tyson leaves us, or has left us with the last session, I would like you to introduce your character, but before you do so, I'm going to tell the audience where you are. You are the stagecoach driver of the previously doomed Stagecoach 4. You have just been saved by the valiant act of Tyson. And as Tyson exploded, you saw both his sacrifice and the end of Ortis, as Tyson took the infected Ortis with them in the explosion that has sealed off any type of pursuit. But my friend, welcome. Tell us who you will be playing and how they fit into this great big story.
I am playing Deputy Thero Bonebright. He is, of course, one of the children of Mother. He was a child of Mother many years ago, but a returning child, as Mother seems to be ageless. He is a Triton. He is a blue-skinned Triton. He has shell-like ears if you look that close. His eyes are all black, unless something happens and they roll over white. He wears a broad, long hat that protects him from the wind and the sun. He wears a duster. He popular in the southeast, the lands of Burdusk and south, where he comes from, where he just finished up a campaign. If you look on his breastplate, it's bluish, bluish silver scale mail, and right on the chest near the heart is a badge you recognize as a deputy marshal of the City Watch. It's a little different than some of the badges you've seen, and there doesn't seem to be that warmth and glow in the badge that you used to see in badges of that sort. He's returned to Mother after a campaign, the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, the beginning, but he received a mysterious message, a voice he didn't recognize, in an ethereal way and in his brain, and he knew he had to return. And so he got here as quick as he could in time to catch up and see the mass evacuation. If his skills are to be put to good use anywhere in the world, it is, of course, in chaos, because he is an orderly person, and he believes in the law and order, and he's here to help Mama. And he remembers, of course, in a situation that everybody remembers about Mama, how Mama changed his life. And it was when he was young and being taken care of, and he had been there for about a month, and a young drow entered Mama's care, and Thero remembered that he had heard people of that race, of the drow race, called something at sea by his family, and they called, and he, of course, used that word in front of Mama, and he called the drow an Anki. And Mama grabbed Thero by his shell-like ears and dragged him over and caught his attention, because Thero was a young and angry young child. Mama wasn't going to get his attention any other way. And so she took Thero aside and convinced him that treating people that you don't know in a way that you would not like is not very logical and not very good. And Thero is anything but good. And it convinced him that all people should be judged by their actions and their kindness and the way they treat others. And that is a lesson that Mama's taught everybody. And so he continues the fight. And now he is a deputy marshal of the City Watch, returned home to help Mama. And his final actions as he was driving this cart, the stagecoach, bound for Tartarus, he saw the end of his fellow foundlings, Ortis and Tyson. And I suppose it's his duty to tell Mother what happened to them.
And it's as the deputy rides off with the explosion kind of coalescing and then receding, leaving only the dust of the debris of the walls that have collapsed, barring any type of pursuit. It is Zeph and it is Aspen that beyond any type of realization, you see the dust spray out of the alleyway that you have just escaped from, and it would be Zeph who would feel the pull on their hide around the neck as Pidge is pulling, and you hear, Inya! Inya! And she's pointing back, and there comes, once again, like a bat out of hell, is the deputy and the unsundered stagecoach as it rockets out through the dust, an escape provided by Tyson. We're going to cut now to the group that has made it beyond, as this group has reached a crossroads. And as we look at this crossroads, we have our friend Father Strider, we have our friend Venrus, and we have 3 of the 4 stagecoaches. The children inside each of these stagecoaches, Megan, in stagecoach 1, we have Megan, the child that is a burn victim. We have Can the goblin. In stagecoach 2, we have Robin, and we have Blunder Trust the gnome. And in stagecoach 3, we have Ketz and we have Z, as all of these children are nervous with what is happening and what is to come. But it is to Venrus and Strider that we now stop, as before you to the north is a wide avenue, and to the west a smaller street. And as you stop to look at whatever direction, or make a decision on what direction you will go, it is at this time that you see a bear and a centaur running toward you. And you see a 4th stagecoach seemingly delivered from the mouth of hell itself, as you are all reunited at the crossroads. And I will tell you all that we're going to take a moment to RP, but there's a decision coming. North or west? What do you do?
Well, I, of course, pull up and start settling the horses. Oh, Barnacle, calm down. Where's Mama? Does anyone know where Mama is? I have news.
Yes, my friend, she is right here with me in Coach 1.
The Padre, right?
You may call me Strider.
Of course. I approach Mother and I take off my hat and Mother, I have news of some of your children, and this news is, of course, can be distributed amongst my fellow foundlings. I'm afraid I bring dire news of the fate of Ortis and Tyson.
When you come to say this, Mal, as the deputy kind of takes her into a confidence, one born of a child to a parent, but also of a law enforcement to a civilian, you notice that her eyes are looking in the direction where the bear came from, where Aspen came from, and where the stage came from. And you can tell that she already is noting that there are 2 faces not among those that have joined you.
I do not mean to frighten the younglings and any of the small children. I can, of course, relay this information later or in privacy if we have time to aside. I am not familiar with the bear, but I presume it is the young druid of which I saw earlier in another stagecoach. Can we all?
I believe Zephyr's currently in. I'm not sure if I said wolf or bear, actually.
I'm sorry.
No, I can't remember. But either way.
It might have been direwolf. Yeah, I'm sorry. You might have said direwolf. Yeah.
So it's like a grayish black wolf, and but the eyes are like a dark blue.
Okay.
And it just kind of cocks its head and one of the ears goes down like, hi.
Forgive me. It seems I've been in the wilderness too long, and I do not know the difference between a bear and a great wolf such as yourself.
Neither does your
I
DM.
apologize. I apologize. However, friends, and I pull them a little aside so the children can't hear. I'm afraid that our fellow companions, Ordis, they both went down, and Ordis, the barbarian, like a sentinel of liberty, he died with the extrication of children. He was removing them and taking them to safety, and he sacrificed himself. Of the engineer, the one of true genius with his apparatus, he proceeded to defend the stagecoach from the libelous horde of cocksmokers that were attacking us, and the dead that ground us. Forgive me, can the children hear? If they do hear my profanity, I will proceed to put copper into a mason's vestibule so that they will benefit from my own, forgive me, from my own weaknesses of vulgarity. However,
Mother puts a hand on your shoulder. Did they suffer?
Oh no, Mama. No, they didn't suffer at all. The engineer, he took his aperture and proceeded to overload it in some manner, and with that, and there was no suffering. Oh no, Mama. They went out in a blaze of glory, as if frightening the gates of Tartarus themselves. They died with honor and saving children. A legacy no one could ever overdo or outdo.
Deputy, it's at this time that you notice that the large half-orc child that contribution to the swear jar from Hawk. The large masonry vestibule. The large half-orc child that had been riding on the dire wolf, he had kind of crept up behind you and listened to your tale as you recounted the end of Ordis and Tyson. And as he approaches Mother, his hand instinctively comes up to cover his mouth, ashamed of the way that his tusks are broken and crowded. And his eyes meet his mother as he says, "They were together when the fire came." And you can see that the large boy is just that, as he is still a child, and tears run from his eyes beneath the shield of his hand as he bore witness to the end of Ordis and Tyson.
Son, would you come here, please? Rock, I believe, is your name.
He walks over and puts his head down. He doesn't make eye contact.
Rock, I need you to do me a favor.
Okay.
You're strong. I'm going to deputize you, and what I want you to do is I want you to watch over Pidge. Okay?
From his hair that's kind of dangling in his face, you see the eyes kind of creep up and look your way at the mention of becoming a deputy.
You're going to watch over Pidge, and I want you to watch over Truss as well. All right? I want you and Pidge and Truss and Robin to all stick together. Okay?
Okay. Do I get a...
Please, go ahead, son.
Do I get a badge? You see him point towards.
You know what? I'm so glad you asked me. I reach into my pocket and I use a bit of my thaumaturgy and I take my badge and I cover over it and I use the thaumaturgy to spread out 5 badges. And then I put mine back on and I use these little minor illusions and I start handing them to the kids that I talked about. Now, you're all going to have to watch out for each other. And I'm giving you all these assignments. And we're going to get out here together. Young deputies, right?
A lot of them silently nod, but Rock puts his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Sheriff.
That's right. Hey, do me a favor, would you? Check out that ear of mine. You think that thing looks pretty funny or what?
No.
No? Well, some people think it looks funny, but I think it looks great. And I think maybe you have something that's pretty similar that maybe you don't like so much. Maybe you think about that. Now, you got work to do, son. We all do.
You can see that at the mention of doing work, Rock re-engages, while the metaphor for his and your is he doesn't get it. As he, okay, and he moves off. We are now going to release everybody to the area that I spoke of. I'm going to give you a few moments to RP among yourselves, as this is all going on right now with the deputies. He's talking to Mother. So with the other 4, anything else that you would like to do right now, please let me know.
I would like to go check on Robin in Stagecoach 2.
As you come up to, still in your wolf form,
Yep.
As you kind of peek into Stagecoach 2, you see that Robin and Blundertrust, the albino gnome, are on the floor of the stagecoach. And for a moment, you think that they're hiding, and then you hear the clatter of something on the floor, and you hear Robin whisper, 7s over 3s. And as they pull back, you see that they're playing dice. And as they pull back, you see Robin and Blundertrust, who never says a word. Blundertrust looks up and goes, oh. And the dice just disappear. You knew they were there a second ago, but they're gone now.
Does Robin look better than he did back at the tail end of the estate?
Children are very resilient, and they have this moment where the universe has kind of crept and closed in to just the stagecoach, and it is the company of 2 best friends, as Blundertrust and Robin are using one another to kind of get through the apocalypse. Just as you all are kind of relying on the shield arm and the sword to your right and left, the kids are relying on their companions, Pidge to Rock and Blundertrust to Robin. So he seems much better.
Good. Yeah, so sticking as close to Stagecoach 2 as possible, but turning back toward the group. But before she turns, she'll, I don't know, how funny can a wolf make its face? You know, like stick a tongue out? Like brawling tongue out?
Roll a performance check for me.
Oh, good.
And we'll see if this is like...
The wolf has
with
better
your wolf
charisma
stats.
than me? No, it's my
I don't
own.
know.
My
I'm
own
just saying, this is the
performance.
This is the difference between Wile E. Coyote and the big bad wolf. So
Yeah,
as
it's terrifying.
as you are attempting to make a funny wolf face, you instead create the saliva-driven sneer of a dire wolf, and both of the children's eyes go super wide as you hear wherever the dice were, they have now been thrown away in fear that this is some type of retribution for their game upon the floor, as you're just the clack, just the invisible or clatter of dice as they are just chucked to the side real quick.
Okay, Zeph is gonna move and just like hit herself in the head with her wolf palm. Good.
Okay, as that's going on, Father Strider, Aspen, and Venerus, what would you all like to do?
Well, Father Strider would probably be talking to Mother. Mother, we face a choice. Though I did spend some of my youth on the streets of the City of Splendors, it has been quite some time and many things have changed. Many years have gone by. I would suggest that we rely on some of our younger brethren who are not so far removed from the streets, say Venerus and Zephyr, to see if they have any input on what would be a proper direction for us to take.
All right, Jason, what we're going to do is we're going to pause that moment in time as you're asking Mother, as I want to ask Aspen and Venerus if there's anything they want to do kind of prior to this choice.
The one thing, so I have a couple kids. I'm gonna unload them back into a coach, and I'm going to try to just kind of step aside and take a breather and use a new level 2 cure wounds spell on myself.
Nice. Yep, so just post it up in chat or in Roll20 what you heal yourself, and then please go right ahead and do so. Everybody making sure to update your stats on D&D Beyond so everybody can see just how badly you're doing. I mean, just how well you're doing. Venerus, how are you doing, my friend, and what are you doing at this moment?
Venerus is watching Zeph approach the cart as the giant wolf, and it's just watching this very curiously, trying very hard not to laugh as he sits with Z and Ketz. But as soon as he sees the dice get thrown from the cart, he's gonna go over, pick them up, and I want him to try and like sneak into the back of the cart and roll the dice with the kids.
Are you sneaking for the sake of sneaking, or are you like sneaking for the kids? Like you're like, I'm one of you all, I'm gonna sneak
Exactly.
in. Okay, then
trying to just be like one of the kids.
Okay, no stealth roll is necessary then, as you're not trying to sneak past Zeph, but you can join in and do make me a perception check to see if you can find where the dice have been chucked.
Okay. If I can't find the dice, I do have a set of my own.
Nice, love it.
The perception. Oh, natural 1.
You don't know where the hell these dice went, but
Reach into my bag, I pull out my own.
And there they are. And both Blundertruss and Robin's eyes go wide because they can't find them either. And they look, and you know, Blundertruss points at a couple of the dice that are polyhedral and not just six-sided.
And I give them to the kids to keep playing their game before hopping back out and heading towards cart number 4 to sit with, or cart number 3 to sit with my charges. Oh,
Okay.
Aspen, where are you?
I'll come over. I was
Are
probably
you
just like on
feeling
the
okay?
other side of the cart because I was trying to like heal myself where none of the kids were really looking, trying to put on a brave face sort of.
Are you doing okay?
Mostly.
You look a little
I'll be
rough.
A little bit.
Listen,
Not-
just I am just going to like tap you on the shoulders as I go cure
Right,
wounds.
wait. Right
Oh,
before
no.
you're gonna tap Aspen on the shoulder, Jordan. Aspen, you receive additional plot armor in the form of temporary hit points from a spirit in the sky, if you will, as you receive from Mal, Hawthorne Mal, a little bit of extra HP. So let that, I'm not sure if that influences, Jordan, what you were going to do, but there's additional healing that was given if you want to save those slots or
You
something.
suddenly
Is
look
that
so
more?
much
'Cause
better.
We all got
Yeah.
one. So is this like another set?
This is additional. This is additional.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, then I'm good. Like actually, I had a minute
You
to
look so
I
much
didn't
better in
add
person.
those
like,
that last plot armor. How much is it to our temporary hit points? You said
2 times your current level. So if you receive plot armor from the Legion, if you are 3rd level, you get 6 temporary hit points, 4th, 8th, 5th, 10. So whatever your level is, double that in hit points of the temporary variety. Friends, you are all at a crossroads as you are all looking at one another, getting stronger, teaching the kids how to play the dice, but this is inside a city that has gone to hell, quite literally. And so what I'm going to ask you all now is there is a choice to be made as you see the wide avenue that leads to the north, and beyond it somewhere, this point to the north gate leading from Waterdeep. You would all know this, but at the same time, you would also know that there is another avenue, smaller, leading to the west. The west gate is closer, and anything else that you would need to know for that, I'm going to ask you to either roll a perception, if you want to look and kind of get a lay of the land from the north and the west, history, if you want to kind of figure out historically what these two directions mean. Go right ahead.
So Zeph would like to, since Veneris is close by, kind of gesture up.
oh yeah, I was literally just about to. Yeah, and okay.
And then Zeph would like to kind of go to the mouths of the alley, and I was wondering if I could take a big ol' whiff and see if that stank is coming stronger from any particular way.
And I want to fly up and look from the sky which way looks clearer.
Great. And pay no attention to the timer that is on the screen right now that is counting down the time in which you will be required to make your decision.
I don't have Twitch up.
As well as you look around, I would like a perception check from the now soaring Veneris, and I would like a perception check from the sniff variety from my dire wolf.
Cool. I got the advantage on that because I am a wolf.
Do I have advantage for being in the air, or is it just flat?
I'll give you advantage for flying. Yeah, we kind of set that as a precedent, so go ahead.
Cool.
Well, just
We
hold
know
on a sec.
Everything.
Let's redress that. Okay, so 6, and the next roll was a 6, so Levi's still with us.
Cool.
We know everything.
Okay,
I'm starting to
so
believe that this campaign is cursed.
Yeah.
you don't say. Okay, so narratively, how we will explain this is obviously you don't fail to be able to smell something, Lauren, but the rot and the stench is overpowering, especially to the heightened senses of the dire wolf. It might even have been better to have been human at this moment and not had that incredible sense. Veneris, as you fly up and you look to the north and the west, you see that there's action ahead, that there is populations and pedestrian traffic running and screaming in both directions. You can't tell which way it seems denser, though. Certainly not with a 6.
It was a 7, but yeah.
Oh, in that case, no.
I know, right?
So do you come back
Veneris
and
comes
tell?
flying back down. It's pretty rough both ways. There's just so many people. I can't really get the clear picture. Zeph, do you remember which way we used to go? Yes, I know.
It's just Hairball City, right?
Okay, I remember what that means. I don't remember what it means, Zeph.
Okay. I can't speak, but
I know. Point your nose towards which way, because west is closer, but north might be easier.
what
Oh.
was the thing we could roll to try and remember? It was history.
Yeah.
Oh,
And can Father attempt to make a history check?
I'm about to say, are
Yeah,
we
yeah.
or
privy
literally
to?
anyone else.
Yes,
Yeah.
the only people I will
Yeah.
allow to make checks at this point are Aspen, the deputy, and the father.
Okay. And this
I'm-
is a perception. Could I make it an investigation check? No, sorry.
You're not drilling in, you're just trying to get a sense of the area.
Gotcha.
I'm going to pre-strike this with advantage, spending 5 points of honor.
Okay.
I too would like to spend honor points to get an advantage on this.
That'll take you from your 20 to a 15.
After I roll, I will adjust that. 1 second. All right, we're doing perception here. I get an advantage, so here's 1.
There you go, 20.
Oh, there it is.
So a 19 history and a 20 perception is
The old fart
Pretty-
saved the day.
the old farts. It pays to be able to know what's going on. And so I will pause everything here at 40 seconds, we'll say, as here's what you guys understand. As the perception goes out, Deputy, you know the streets pretty well, and you see that the north seems to be clear, but you know that the north, and this is kind of in conjunction with what Strider knows, the north is farther away, deceptively farther away. The west seems to be more crowded, but you know that that wall and that gate is closer. With that perception check, you can actually see that there are a lot of enemy traffic to the west. You don't see hardly anything to the north. Again, though, the north leads you more into the heart of the city and vaguely in the direction of a wall. The west, you aim straight for a wall. Strider, you would know that the north wall and the north gate is usually pretty heavily defended. The west, not so much, because it is right up against the beach. And because Waterdeep has not been attacked in any realistic manner for quite some time, the west gate is usually left undefended. Take those bits of information as you will, for what you will, and I need to know what coaches you'll be riding in, if any of the children change the coaches, and more importantly, which direction does the escape train head?
Well, Padre, everyone, I know it might be a harder row to hoe, but west is calling my name. You know what else is west? The ocean. I don't know about y'all, but I want to see if these undead cunts can swim. Oh, sorry. Where's the vulgarity vestibule?
Rock raises his mouth. For a moment, Rock walks by and raises his hand to your mouth as he walks by.
You're right, young man. You're right.
Father,
So-
what do you think?
I am sadly in pretty much the opposite position. Though it may be a longer journey to the north, I feel, knowing what I know about the Northern Gate and how well defended it is, that the path may be a bit easier. It is more exposed, but it would provide with more maneuverability for the coaches. And again, as I said, the closer we get to the gate, the higher probability that we might get reinforced and protected. Whereas the west gate, not so much, my friend.
Reinforcements? Are we expecting more reinforcements from the children of Mother? Because I don't know if you noticed or not, but this thing that I got on, and I'm making sure that there are no children near. Go on, get. And then I look back over at the Padre and I say, this thing don't work no more. You know what that means? Did you see that gigantic thing fall from the sky? That Titan of old? It's gone. People are going to start chopping each other up. And the only thing that's keeping all of us together is Mama. So if you're thinking that reinforcements is the main reason to go towards that gate, I have to disagree with you, Padre.
30 seconds, my friends.
I agree with the father. While I don't necessarily, it's farther, but there's less people that way, and the more people, the more enemies there will be. And if we go to the ocean, I don't think any of us have a boat, and we need to go north. We need to go inland towards our second home. I feel like the north is the way to go, and with me and Zeph, we can get there in half the time. We know this city. I play hide and seek all the time.
I think so too. If we meet anyone else, they'll help us.
I don't
Zeph,
agree.
not yes or no.
Zeph's thinking that the less people is probably good. So
I will, of course, abide by the group's decision, but I wholeheartedly disagree with this course of action.
So as the deputy abides, everybody is heading north. North? I'm hearing north. Are we keeping everybody in their same... The Stagecoach 4 is fine. I need to know where you all would like to kind of center yourselves. Just to recap, I had Strider and Aspen in Stagecoach 1 with Megan and Can. I had Zeph in Stage 2 with Robin and Blundertruss. I had Venrus in Stage 3 with Ketz and Z. And now I would have the Deputy in Stage 4 with Rock and Pidge. Is that how you would like to continue?
Yes.
Aspen, would you ride next to me? We are both the most mobile and getting around, so maybe if we stick together, at least one of us will be with this cart no matter what.
I too have a tactic I might be able to employ once we're on the road, but to do that, I'm afraid I cannot be driving the wagon, and it would be best if I was in the back. I have the ability to, and Thero kind of pulls his hand a bit, and he kind of, you see the his breath all of a sudden. I have the ability to make things quite cold, and I can do it at will. If I'm in the back of the caravan, perhaps I can cause some sort of ice slick or some way to make the ground slippery so that these will be slowed down and they cannot approach us at the speed with which we have seen them run in the past.
You don't have to drive the cart. We can have somebody that will kind of take over the Stagecoach. You can, if you want to ride in Stagecoach 4, that's where I'll put you. Aspen, does that mean you're going to move to Stage 3 with Veneris?
I guess 1, 2. My goal is to kind of just be like moving sort of between them. So I guess like, can I be like in between 2 and 3?
Yeah,
that way
absolutely.
I can get to any of them since we have an extra person.
You want to kind of ride in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as everyone sort of makes their decision, the kids are loaded in or reloaded into the Stagecoach 4. New drivers take the place as everybody kind of just as everybody gets in position to ride, without the need for a perception check, as you all turn back towards the direction of the estate, the direction where Ortis and Tyson fell, you see what looks to be 30 of these creatures spill out of an alleyway, a couple of them falling as they run over top of each other, and they turn as one in a mirrored movement as they all look, and they begin to charge towards you. So, as this is occurring, and as this charge goes out, everybody that is currently inside or riding on one of these carts, you're going to take off and you are heading to the north. What I'm going to need is this. I want perception checks from each person for each cart. Strider, I need a perception check from each. So Strider 1, Zeph 2, down to 3, Jordan, and 4 for the deputy, as I want each person is watching ahead of them and around them as the walls and the calm that had been gathered for a moment collapses.
All right. I am, of course, going to spend honor points to get the advantage.
Hey, Daenerys, high five! Dirty 20.
Nice rolls.
Just my honor, and now I'm hitting the perception.
19,
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Excellent all around. So as you all are charging down here, you see that the escape train, as it's being called, is outpacing with these 6 team horses for each stagecoach, are outpacing this crumbling kind of roiling horde as it runs out and goes by. But as you all are passing to the north, a large building to your right appears. It is the grand structure known as the Cynosure. The Cynosure is a large facility that once was a temple, but had been reconstituted into almost a gathering hall where weddings and meetings of state and large gatherings were to take place. And as you are riding first at it 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you see the doors blow open from this huge, almost convention center as zombies dressed as nobles come pouring out. 10, 20, 30, 40. Around 100 is when you stop. But you are all outpacing them. The road ahead is clear. You're able to put 100, 150, 200 feet between you and the sea that the deputy so longed to gaze upon. Instead of a saltwater variety, is now covered in the flesh of the dying and the decayed. But a sea nonetheless crashes behind you. And that's when Stagecoach 2 blows a wheel. I need from, I think it's Zeph who's in charge of Stagecoach 2. I am going to need a animal handling, or I'm going to need a dexterity as you either try to continue to ride with 3 wheels or you attempt to stop the stage before it crashes.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Fine. I guess we'll go with the dex. I'll use my honor and get advantage on this. 18.
Zeph, you're able to, whether it's a sympathetic nature, a growl, or whatever it is, the horses are able to stop before it pitches over to the side. But inside, Blundertruss and Robin are thrown about as, again, the missing dice that had been thrown beneath one of the seats fly out and clatter to the cobblestones as the now 3-wheeled stage sundered and fixing a wheel is easy. It just takes time. And as it kind of lists to a stop and the team of horses skittering and nervous because of the noise and the smell, What do the rest of the stages do? Stage 1, 3, and 4.
I'm going to slow down Stagecoach 3 so that we can start loading as many kids onto my coach as possible and then book it.
Okay, I need you to do two things for me if you're slowing down. I want you to roll a perception check, and I want you to roll an animal handling at advantage if you're slowing down. And Stagecoach 4, Deputy.
Stagecoach 4. We are going to we're going to spray the ground. All right. So, is it what's the ground like again? It's just all cobblestone. Is it dirt?
All cobblestones. There's more grime on the city, in especially this section than normal, but you know it is the apocalypse. Yeah.
All right. So I am going to use a first level spell and a cantrip at the same time. First, I'm going to create water. It's like a 30-foot square of water. And then I'm going to spread it out over the ground. And then I'm going to use my Ray of Frost to freeze. Or actually, I can just shape water to freeze it at will. I don't have to use Ray of Frost. I can do both.
You're making de facto hazardous terrain, correct? You
Exactly.
Want to make...
I'm slowing them down, and also I'm keeping a horse between the children, myself, and the Horde. Push comes to shove, that horse is getting eaten before I do, and the children do. I should have said children first.
Okay, then I need you to make me a perception check and an animal handling at advantage. With the perception check and the animal handling that Venerus had, I will give you the following information. You believe that this horde is going to be on you within seconds from stopping. With that animal handling, you were able to move Stagecoach 3 around Stagecoach 2. You did not take any damage as you come around, but you know that with this pause, they are beats behind you. Transferring the kids, it could easily be sacrificing Stagecoach 3 as well.
Real question. How heavy is a stagecoach? How
These
heavy
are...
is a corner of a stagecoach?
All right, you want to become the de facto fourth wheel of the stagecoach. Okay, I love the idea. I tell you what,
I will carry a lot.
Right. So I'm not. I absolutely think this is a fantastic idea. If you want to, Voltron this thing and become a wheel, go ahead and just while it's stopped, we're going to say that Aspen's able, because you said you were between 2 and 3. You can ride around and attempt to lift it just to see if you can hold it, because lifting something and holding it for an extended period of time, different. So go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
All right.
You get it up, you lift it up, and your muscles, as all 4 legs kind of kneel down and lift up as you're able to, the veins pop out in Aspen's neck as they lift up the wheel, and you have it righted. Mechanically, if you continue in this motion, I'm going to require a roll every round, as this is, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's something that's going to be very tough. So you would all witness this. I need a decision right now from Stagecoach 1 and Stagecoach 3 and 4. What do you do as this horde of 100+ zombies about 6 seconds behind you?
So Father Strider orders Stagecoach 1 to slow down just a bit as he screams back to Aspen to grab the children out onto her back, and then hopefully one of the other coaches can grab Zeph on the way by. So yeah, you hear him shout, "Aspen, grab the children. We do not have time. You'll travel too slowly. Grab the children. Get them on your back. Get up to us as quickly as possible."
Do you stop Stagecoach 1 or do you just slow it?
Just slow it.
Okay. You're able to keep Stagecoach 1 ahead of the Horde. Stagecoach 3. Venerus, what do you do?
Oh man. If I try and grab the kids, we lose Stagecoach 2, correct? Or it's a possibility.
Stagecoach 2 has 3 wheels right now.
Okay.
Right now, it's a decision about whether or not you want to keep Stagecoach 3 in play. I know you can fly, but what do you tell Stagecoach 3? Ketz and Z are inside.
I turn to look at Aspen and Zeph, and I just give them a nod. I feel like they can get out of there, and they're more than strong enough to get the kids out. And I have my Stagecoach. I have them go. I have them pick up speed. We can't lose another one.
Stagecoach 3
Not
rolls
too
past.
fastly. I want to enough to get ahead of the Horde, but slow enough that, say, a direwolf could jump on.
So you want to go direwolf speed. Okay, that's on the odometer. It's right there. It just says direwolf, and you just tickle the needle.
Horsepower, direwolf power.
Right. Centaur direwolf right in the middle of there. Deputy, what are you going to do for Stagecoach 4?
All right. We can... we don't have to pick up anybody. 3 is taking care of 2, right? There's nobody else left. The children are getting on board.
No, nobody's gotten on board.
No.
2, the kids are, everybody's still packed into 2. And this is the thing that I want to ask you. If you stop to cast even a cantrip, that's going to be enough. I know, that's going to be enough for Stagecoach. If you want to do it while riding, I need to know that, or if you want to stop Stagecoach.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to keep going, and instead of making a ice sheet behind us, can I make an ice wheel on that coach so it keeps going with my create water and then freeze it with my shape water? Let's make an ice wheel. But we're going to keep going.
What's your spell casting ability modifier? Or what's your spell casting ability? Your skill?
All right. The old, it's a +3 spell attack, +1 modifier, 11 DCs.
Okay, yeah, but what charisma, wisdom, intelligence, what are you using?
Oh, I'm a cleric.
Okay.
So.
Make me a straight up wisdom check right here and add your proficiency modifier to it.
All right. So that's going to be wisdom +1 and +2. So wisdom +3. And that's going to be, one moment.
As you ride by, Deputy, and as you cast, it's the clattering of either you're not, the Deputy isn't, in a state of panic, but just the jostling as you're trying to do it. A wheel is formed, but one of the spokes of the wheel is just a little bit too thin, and as perfect as it looks for a moment, much like the City of Splendors itself, what looked great one sunrise is now sundered in a sunset, and you see the wheel crack and splinter as it drops beneath. As Aspen's holding on, you would see the wheel form for a moment, and you'd feel the relief in your muscles, and then it cracks and gives beneath the weight.
I bet it was good enough though for long enough to give me advantage on my next athletics check, right though?
I don't know. That sounds like that's
exactly what I meant to do.
Was it? Okay, so Stagecoach 4 zips past as 1, 3, and 4 have left 2. At this point, I'm going to focus on 2, which is Zeph and Aspen. I want perception checks from Zeph and Aspen, as we are 6 seconds away from...
Cool. Okay, I have something I want to do after this.
Sure.
10.
Okay.
19.
Yay, Aspen.
Aspen, as you're sitting there with the veins popping out in your neck and you turn and look, you see that on either side of the road, and with a 19, you needed an 18 to catch this little particular thing, there is a very tall building which looks like there are catwalks connecting the rooftops to the right. But to the left, you see a temple, and it seems to be the Temple of Gond. And 2 huge doors begin to spiral and corkscrew and gear open, and you see 2 gnomes run out with these huge, they look like glasses and telescopes combined into one, holding these massive multi-barreled implements, and they begin to wave towards you, "Bring the children!" as they stand there, and you start hearing as these 2 gnomes start throwing what looks like some type of metal, heated and lead, into the horde, drawing both them off and damaging them.
Okay.
What would you all like to do?
Goodness. Okay.
Get the children out of the state. Like, I'm still trying to like sort of move it forwards just to try to keep it as ahead of these zombies as possible.
Yeah.
Can
I
get out?
Yeah, can I get the kids in here on my back and jump ahead? I'm fast for these damn coaches anyway.
You absolutely, we can, and I'm going to have everybody roll initiative, but the 2 of you get 15 honor for sticking back as a wave of 100 zombies comes pouring down on top of you. So
Before we roll that, Thero jumps up in the back of his wagon and goes, "I love the smell of gnome powder in the morning. Ha ha!"
Cool.
What are we rolling?
Initiative.
Woohoo!
I'm gonna use 5 of those honor points we just got for advantage on initiative.
Sure. Okay.
I'm going last.
Waving.
I could have had lower though.
Okay, so as everything hits, it is, and everybody that's in Stagecoach 1, 3, and 4, you're clear of this fray. You have made it past this. You are ahead of the Death Horde. However, Venrus and Zeph Aspen and Zeph are in the thick of it. Zeph, you act first. You're getting the kids on your back?
Mm-hmm.
I will count that as your action. If you want to run in any direction, let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to run just to catch up. I am moving at 60 feet because Longstrider is still in effect. That's a cool spell. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking off with Blundertruss and Robin on your back. As you run off, we're going to take a couple feet away from that as you're loaded down again and you're actively in chase now. This is the first time I think that you've been pursued while actually having passengers. As you are running, you clear the area. However, just as you clear and look back around, you see the 2 gnomes are firing and the horde descends upon Stagecoach 2. As it hits, I am going to need Aspen to roll a strength saving throw as the first one comes in to try to tackle the centaur to the ground.
I am going to use honor for some advantage. 21?
You are able to throw first the 1, 2, 3 as they run in to try to tackle you. And there is a massive amount of these creatures. They are now in melee with you. So when it hits your turn, which is right now, the wave has broken over the Centaur Paladin and they are awash in death. What would you like to do?
I gotten an idea of how fast they are? I mean, like actual numbers.
Sure, roll me an intelligence check. As this is something you're thinking of as you're getting... I wonder how fast these things are as they're jumping over top of you.
Oh, 15?
Yeah, you think they're around 40 feet per round. Like a 40 movement speed. If you were playing a game, you know.
I will write that down.
Oh, I leveled up! I'm gonna use my bonus action to Misty Step.
Oh my god, yes! Yes! Hey, buddy!
Okay, so...
Bowling is awesome.
Okay, so bonus action, Misty Stepping. I'm assuming you're Misty Stepping towards our retreating druid, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
you can do that 30 feet, and then what is your movement speed beyond that?
I have 40 feet movement speed.
Okay, so you can haul ass out of there if you need to.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so-
I'm not gonna pass. I'm gonna run up to right behind and sort of try to keep pace, but I will be in between Zeph and the kids and the Horde the whole time.
And out of nowhere, perhaps it's from it was the gnomes, I think, that just showed up. There must be cousins of Straw. Staffin contributes to give Aspen the centaur 10 additional movement speed for the remainder of the episode. So 40, haha, it is now 50, says Staffin. All right, so as you disappear beneath the horde that had tried to lay you low, the paladin explodes and is now running with the retreating as the stagecoach is swarmed. Roll me perception checks from both Zeph and from Aspen. With a 17, as you turn to look around to see how close they are behind you, you see them break around the stagecoach, and the horses are neighing and pulling up away from the stench of these creatures, and they do not touch them. They break right around the 6 horses. They do not eat them. They do not bite them. They do not drag them down. They don't seem to notice them. So, as we cut up to the first group, as Stagecoach 1 is rocketing up the northern expanse of Waterdeep, you are heading towards the North Gate. And as you are heading towards the North Gate, I would like both Jason and Jordan to roll me perception checks. And I'm sorry, and Mal, as you all roll perception checks, you guys are rocketing past. Based on your perception checks, I will allow you to know what's happening behind you, and of course, what's happening in front of you.
I will be spending some honor points because you can't spend them when you're dead. And where perception was it? Right.
Please.
1 second. Oh. Oy. What? How did I do that?
No worries there. That's about the extent of what we get. Okay, so
I'm just amazed Strider's rolling good on perception and nobody else is.
Right.
This is blowing my mind. Like 2 episodes, I've been waiting for this.
Now that you've said something though, Jason, you know what happens.
Right. This. I can almost hear Levi. I'm rolling so well. I have it licked. Okay. We're going to say the good father, since you're up front, you see this. As you are riding towards the North Gate, you see that the North Gate is closed. You don't see that there's anything collected on the inside, but the gate itself seems sealed, which is odd. Normally the gates are wide open. They're never closed, not even at night for Waterdeep. But as you're riding through here, I am going to need the third stagecoach to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Same, Jordan. Same.
Okay, so dexterity saving throw.
Wait, who's Stagecoach 3 now? Isn't that...
I've been Stagecoach 3.
Okay, so we're keeping the moniker. So 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah. One.
Yes.
Okay, got
Yes,
it.
yes.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not going to take 2 away from it. It's still 2. It's just
I've
back there.
got 10 honor points left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to use 5 right
gonna-
now?
I'm gonna use 5. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, like why not? Let's do it. Let's have some fun.
Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's better. That's
Much
better.
better.
Okay. So what the deputy and what the father see is the following. You feel something, Father Strider, as Stagecoach 1 passes over a certain area, but nothing, you feel kind of a slip in your stage, but you continue through to the sealed gate. Deputy in stage 4, as you're looking ahead, you see stage 3 disappear as a sinkhole seems to open up in the street, and you hear the horrific sounds of the horses being pulled down into this cobblestone sandy grave as this massive stagecoach disappears. It doesn't sink 10 feet and stop. It sinks completely. And I am going to need a dexterity saving throw from Stagecoach 4.
All right, we will be, of course, using.
With advantage since he can see it happening in front of him?
It's horrific, but no.
Oh, God.
All right, well, I will, of course, use the last of my honor points. 5 it is for the advantage, and I'm doing a dex, you say?
Please.
All right.
Making the dex do it. Cleric do a dex, you evil bastard.
Luckily, I have at least 1 point.
Nice. With an 18 to save the stagecoach, do you see? You are able to pull the stagecoach to the side as you help the driver negotiate around this pit.
Come on, Barnacle.
As you look down, you see this maw opening up, and it's with that DC 18 deck save that you hit. The guard tower that had sealed the north gate is pulled and slips into the hole as well, covering any trace of where Stagecoach 3 went. And it is at this time that we have both Zeph and we have Aspen ride up to the scene, as we have 2 stagecoaches left facing a sealed gate. One stagecoach beneath the streets of Waterdeep, and one stagecoach in an ocean of the undead. What would you like to do?
Okay. First of all, you know. Second of all, can you lay this out for me again real quick?
Sure. Stagecoach 1 approached... Everybody was approaching the north gate of Waterdeep. The gate itself is sealed. Stagecoach 1 and Stagecoach 4 are now parked in front of this sealed gate. Stagecoach 3 was drawn into the streets of Waterdeep by a sinkhole. A building, the guard tower of the north gate, fell in over top of the hole, covering it up, burying them, essentially. And the two of you rolled up. We are going to say right now that the horde that was behind you was distracted as you guys were able to put several hundred feet in between them over the course of several rounds. They don't seem to be hot on your heels.
Yeah. What's this whole deal with the gnomes that we're shooting? Is that near us? Or did we pass that?
You passed them.
Understood.
Any help they
So-
could offer is now in the rear row.
Great.
Just as that very
How-
safe way to the west. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't believe that for a second, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Like, that way
it's
was
like
terrible.
bullshit. Again. Okay, real quick, in terms of the gate itself, are there any people around, or is it just closed and nobody's here?
I'm going to tell you this, with the earlier perception checks, it seems closed. Father Strider had a 23 when he wrote up on this. It's closed. There are no guards. There's no one manning the gate mechanism itself. In fact, the gates are so rarely closed, it's not really readily available or determined where the mechanism to open the gates actually is. But they're sealed.
Cool.
They're closed.
Last question. I just love questions. I know somebody already asked this. How heavy are stagecoaches again?
Super duper heavy, a couple 100 pounds, just for the stage, and then each horse is.
Wait, a couple hundred?
I mean, if you're lifting one wheel, it's a couple hundred. If you're lifting the whole thing, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Give me the whole thing.
You want to lift the whole thing?
I didn't say that, Greg. I said, how much do they weigh?
So you want to deadlift a stagecoach?
That's not what I said, Greg.
She's one of those people that says a wizard. I didn't ask how big the room was. I cast fireball.
No,
Right.
I'm
On
literally
the
asking.
record, between the two of us, we can deadlift like 1,000 pounds at least.
Okay, I need to know what you're doing.
Fine.
You don't have a scale with you.
Cool, fine.
A
That
smaller
sounds
cart
totally
weighs
fair.
200 pounds, by the way. So
Then I am going to, as we catch up, which I assume we can, because the first thing is catching up.
Okay, I'm sorry, you broke up a bit there. What'd you say?
Catching up. That's the first thing I want to do.
You guys, we're going to say you get there and you kind of bear kind of a distant witness to the swallowing of Stagecoach 3.
Yeah. Okay, great. Then I am going to come out of, yeah, that's what we have to do. I'm going to come out of direwolf form.
To like grab the kids.
Yeah, they're on now. And I'm going to cast Conjure Animals. And I'm going to summon 2 giant eagles. Yeah.
You can send them for the hobbits?
No, fuck the
can
hobbits.
only hope.
And yeah. So cool. Yes. Now what do I want to do? I want to give names, but I'll hold off on that. Huh?
Can you burrow? Do you have a form that can burrow?
It's too late even if I did. So I'd like to see if it's not possible to fully transport a stagecoach between the 9 eagles, each of which can carry 480 pounds. So I already did the math in prep for this episode. Then I think maybe we start. They're just here. They're here to help. I have them. They're here to help.
Okay,
That's
so
all I'm doing.
you're faced with a door and you've summoned 2 eagles to carry your stagecoach over the door.
If we need to.
All right, it's there. Everybody else, you're sitting here. I'm going to be asking for perception checks and actions as soon as I come back to you all. But before we do any of that, we have to figure out what's going on beneath the streets. And so let's go down beneath the streets as I find the song. What song do I want? I'll take the scary one. Jordan,
Yeah.
as the dust chokes around and your ability to see helping you out in this near darkness, there's enough light coming through some of the cracks as just the ambient light to you seems bright enough, but you see and hear the dying whimpers of the 6 team of horses as they are hopelessly crushed and twisted beneath the streets of Waterdeep that have given way. And that's when you feel the pain in your right leg. And when you look down and the dust swirls a moment, you see that a huge chunk of rock seems to be pinning your leg to the ground, to what looks to be the bottom of some type of sewer or cistern here beneath the streets of Waterdeep. But as you choke the last of the dust that's swirling, you see, as they creep towards you, Z, the elven or half-elven girl with the short-cut hair, normally so proud and teenagery, eyes wide in terror, a cut above her left eyebrow. And you see Ketz, the Kenku, wearing her sundress with her sweater pulled tight, covered, and her normal brilliant black feathers are dusty and gray. As the wide eyes look at you, both of them free where you are not.
It's okay. Everything is okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Z looks down at you. No, it won't. Why? What do we do?
Z, breathe. We are going to be okay.
Tell me
how
to
big
breathe.
is the rock? How big is the rock?
Massive.
Oh yeah, I'm dying down here. I got like no way out of this, so this is about to be 126 hours up in here, guys. I'm about to have to chop off my leg. This is gonna be, it's gonna be real good, real good.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh fuck. 6.
Z. Cats.
Come on, Z. What do you see?
As you're sitting there, Z goes, "Did you hear that?" And as soon as you're able to focus a bit, you hear the shifting and the crumbling of rock, not from the collapse that has trapped you, but from away from this site, deeper into the darkness, perhaps further into this sewer, this cistern. You hear, and Ketz and Z look at you with eyes wide. What do we do?
Does that sound like a zombie or like a giant alligator?
It doesn't sound good. And you didn't roll a very good perception.
Yeah,
so
no,
you're going by what Z hears.
I got a lot of blood pumping up to my head because I'm very, I'm losing blood right now. Is there any way that I can try and pull my leg out?
You can absolutely try to make an athletics check for me.
I wanna try and do an athletics check, and I am gonna use the last of my honor points because I have a -1 to athletics.
We're going to go ahead and say Levi has been trying to send you advantage, so we're going to go ahead and give it to you because I trust Levi and I don't trust Streamlabs. So you have advantage that was given to you by, let's see. we're gonna give you, I don't know, what did you, Levi, quickly, what did you donate? You donated for inspiration or whatever it is. Okay, tell me what you want to do as we're waiting. It should be inspiration.
Okay, so I get a D12.
You get a D12, and you have to, this is an athletics check to move this massive rock off of you.
Okay. I'm still going to use the honor points to give myself advantage. Does the inspiration also roll at advantage or no? No. Okay.
No, yeah, you're just going to elect to use that.
7 plus. Come on, D12. 12's 19. Holy fucking shit.
So as you lift and as you feel the collapse of doom and the oppression of death, and the smell begins to hit you that your earlier perception check did not gift you, the smell that you were the first to identify, oh, so many episodes ago, as that death and rot creeps forward, you lift and explain to me how Venrus, trapped as they are able to move this rock enough not to free themselves, but to begin to pull themselves free.
Veneris looks at the two terrified children and just knows that he cannot let them die down here. He cannot let them die in the dark because they need to get back to Mother, and no matter what, he's going to get them back to Mother. And he begins to lift the rock, even though he really shouldn't be able to.
And much like a parent that lifts a car off of a child after a wreck, this rock begins to move. You think that with another effort, you may be able to get yourself free, but here is the devil's bargain. The children look at you, and Z asks one last time as Ket's, their glassy obsidian eyes look to you. What do we do? And you know that whatever that sound is, the sound that's carrying that smell, it's going to be here in moments. What do you tell the children to do?
Run. I will catch up.
Z looks down, and for a moment there's that sympathy that teenagers often let slip in times of trial, but it's quickly taken away as she just nods and grabs Ket's hand roughly and begins to move in the opposite direction away from the sounds and the smell. And as Ket is being pulled away, the Kenku looks back at you and says, "Fly." And so as they rush off, I am going to need you to make another athletics check, as the creatures are here, and this will determine whether or not you face them on your feet. And just as much as the rock moved before, almost with the absence of the children, it doesn't move. As you turn, still trapped, and as you look up, you see two of the creatures walk into the space, and they see you as they charge. But let's go back up to the top. What's everybody doing topside? There's a door closed, and there's two giant eagles there ready to Uber anybody into the air if they want.
Yeah. I'd like, I mean, we're all kind of gathered. Zeph's back her regular form. they could to move the coaches if we want.
Let's get these kids over the wall.
Okay.
I guess you'd be the best one to go with them. And we need to turn these wagons over, maybe. Is there some sort of way we can set up a barrier of some sort to slow them down? A beachhead, other than the wagons. Where's the gnomes? They're long gone?
I think they were back quite a ways.
How does the door open?
Ooh.
Deputy, do you know?
I have some semblance of knowledge. If I could investigate, perhaps, maybe I could find the aperture, the mechanism. Should I do
will.
that?
Yep, you can absolutely jump down and investigate. You will be leaving stage 4 to do so, but stage 4 is still sound set. Stage 1 is as well. So the deputy is going to investigate the door.
Before I leave, I look at Rock. You have this. I'll be right back. You're in charge of Wagon 4. Understand me?
Yes. And he climbs up into the shotgun seat, and you can see his hands shaking as he grabs hold and pulls himself up beside the driver.
Good boy. All right. I'm going to go investigate.
What I'd like to do is like kind of hop up on one of the eagles' backs. This is rad. And I want us to poke heads over to see if anything's out there before I start flying children in the air. The giant eagles can understand common. It's pretty rad because they're giant eagles. I think I want to name them Bob and Jim. Bob and Jim, the giant eagle.
Bob and Jim, the giant eagles?
Yeah. Call him Jim Bob for short.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're all gonna, me and Jim are gonna peek over, and Bob's gonna keep an eye over the cart.
And yeah, as you're peeking over with the sight of Jim and Bob, I will tell everybody, I don't know where Blind as a Hawthorne is, but it is $30, everybody, 3,000 bits if you want to donate to make somebody invisible. Sorry about that, but that's it's being too true to form and not showing up right now. Thank you, Twitch. I see it, no one else does, so it's lovely. As you peek over, you see the plains heading towards the north, and nary a zombie in sight.
Sounds fake, but cool. So I just don't trust you. I have trust issues. Okay. I can't imagine why. Okay. So Jim and Bob, I guess we're gonna try to lift a stagecoach over the wall. Sounds insane. Which sounds insane, but I think you secretly like it. I can. Your face is on the opposite, but I think you secretly like.
Let's have the deputy roll his investigation as you're prepping to launch the stages into the air, and we're gonna get to that donation, a fantastic donation, in just a moment.
Nothing.
Okay. I would like a perception check from. This is my way of Levying Jason. I want a perception check from Father Strider right now. And only truly rolled 20 can do that, but there we go. As the deputy is searching around the door, the gate, you notice the right hand, even though it's a 20, 30 foot tall gate, seems to move a bit as if it is not locked. But with that 18, you also hear something coming from the way that you've been. And with a glance back, the shadows begin to dance along the building as the Horde has reoriented itself. What would you all like to
Everyone,
do?
the gates, they are not locked. They're just closed. We can get them open.
Here's the devil's bargain. I will allow, because it's dope, I will allow the Eagles and whoever wants to try to like lift this shit. There's also 6 horses that need to be lifted, but whatever. Let's just say that I will let you get one of those coaches over in this interesting manner, but that would leave the other coach and all of you on this side. What would you like to do? Who's going to open the gate? And I'm going to tell you this before you have to make a decision. The person opening the gate is going to get 15 honor. That should kind of tell you what kind of danger that poses. And we're going to go back under the streets as you decide what you want to do with that. Jordan, as Veneris is trapped and these creatures come out, they come in, and they get close. And they move past you.
No.
Roll me a perception check.
Fuck. Oh god. 18.
You hear the clatter of stones as children are running in the other direction, and you see them.
How far away are they from me? Are they right next to me?
About 5 feet, yeah.
Fuck
But
it.
they don't see you.
Okay. I'm hoping that I can use this spell to kind of get me out, because really, there's I honestly don't know how else I'm gonna get out. I would like to use Arms of Hadar to create some shadowy black tentacles to whip these zombies out of the way and hopefully help me budge the rock. I'm just in a fit of anger. I am unleashing this pact bargain of mine.
Fantastic. What do they have to roll? What's their save for that?
A strength saving throw of 13. I'll probably make it, but I'm pretty sure they still take half damage.
I am going to have them roll at disadvantage because they don't know that you're there, and this is technically a surprise round.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to get worse than that with a 2. So here's what, because I love the flavor of this, and I want you to tell this tale for me, Jordan. I want you to now roll that athletics check with advantage, and then we're going to put everything together as we see what happens here.
I don't think I'm getting out. That's a 10.
It shifts but does not move. But describe to me how these arms, what do they do to these zombies as they are able to hold, if you will?
So centering on me, these black tendrils rip through the fabric of space and time, and they just start lashing out at everything with full abandon. The zombies are going to take 2d6 necrotic damage. I'm sure they're probably resistant to that or something. 5, so 2 points of necrotic damage. And they are unable to take reactions until their next turn. So yeah. Oh boy.
Okay, so these creatures cannot see you. They have no clue where you are. This isn't invisibility. This is non-detection. So they can't pinpoint what's happening other than with their brains, they figure that they are being held in place. They pass their round as they begin to kind of move in a circle, still pulling against the arms. As we go back to you, what would you like to do? As you are still mixed up with these two, but it is your chance again if you would like to either try to free yourself or whatever you'd like.
I wanna try and free myself again. I can't do much from the ground. So yeah, athletics check. Come on, roll 20. 2. Doing big things over here. Doing real big things.
Do you have any honor?
I am completely out of honor. I used
No,
the last of it to...
I forgot to give you 15 because you told the kids to run. So you
Oh,
have 15.
Okay, I'm good. Well, if I had known that, I would have used it, but I'm going to save it for next round.
Okay, no, what I'll tell you this is, because I knew I forgot to tell you that, I'll allow you to spend 5 now if you'd like to roll at advantage.
Yes,
And
please.
it looks like Redcap gave you inspiration as well. So you have inspiration from Redcap, and you've got...
I'm using it. Oh, no, that didn't work. It's a 9.
Again, trapped beneath the earth with these creatures. And... with a 19, they begin to, even their intelligence begins to understand that something is afoot as their gazes pass over the area that you're in more often as they look around trying to identify something to eat. Let's go back upstairs as I'm going to ask. We know that the Eagles are taking flight. Hotel California is all booked up. Who's opening the gate?
I've got a question.
describe-
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Since it's unlocked, can my thaumaturgy blow the gate open?
No, it's super heavy. So you're going to need to, this is a barricade siege gate. So while it is evident from the investigation, it would require someone to actually open it.
And is it doors or is it like a portcullis? Like what?
There are 2 huge, like oak banded doors, 25, 30 feet in height, just great big, almost like Western saloon doors, closed up in that manner, wardrobe doors. And the sounds of the dead are behind you.
All right.
Steph, it's safe on the other side?
Looks perfectly safe. The Eagles did not see anything. No, Eagles can see a lot. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you've ever been an eagle or talked to eagles, but I talk to eagles a lot in the guns for a thing. So the Jim Bob, they're going to take a coach and the horse is over. How many kids can we get on that? Can we get all the kids on that?
I'm not going to let you take anybody over in the coach. I'm going to allow you to have Bob and Jim take the horses and the coach over.
Love it. Cool. So that's what they're going to do. And then I'm going to gather the kids, I guess, behind me as I wait for the Eagles to return.
I'm gonna open the gate.
Aspen, you're opening the gate?
We save as many as we can.
Okay.
15 honor.
You get 15 honor as you go and begin to pull the gate open. It doesn't require a strength check as you do so. Also, I'm not sure I told you, Mal, but Sir Annie-Stud gave you plot armor. Make sure that you mark that down for an additional 6 hit points. That came in earlier, and I failed to mention it because I was enthralled by my own voice.
I put it on at the very beginning of the match, right? I put 6 on from the very beginning of the session.
Okay, well, yeah, you.
Was there another one after that?
I believe so. Yes, you received.
Right.
You have
Thank you. I'll
2
put it
now,
on right
so
now.
you're good.
Rock and roll.
Yes, fan art challenge. Jim Bob lifting the coach, horses and all over the gate. I like to view it like this, because if we're going to do this, I'd say that Bob picks up the stagecoach and somehow gets it over, and Jim just sinks talons into the horses, like, and just lifts them up, and they're as they're getting lifted over, blood pouring out of their backs. But that's just me. That's the way I like to think that they're getting lifted over. And as it would be. As that's happening, I am going to need Stagecoach. Which coach is going over? Stagecoach 1 or Stagecoach 4?
1, I think.
Okay. So with that, as Stagecoach 1 gets lifted over to safety, Stagecoach 4 still in the area of harm's way, the Horde itself hits. And so I am going to need everyone to clamber aboard Stagecoach 4 as you are going to run as the doors open, like Road Warrior, Mad Max style. Hit it at full speed. I'm going to need...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go right ahead,
I was
bud.
going to say I could situate myself in the back to try to do the ice sheet again to slow hazardous, to slow them down.
Gotcha. As you all are going, I'm going to need somebody to make an animal handling check as you kind of hit the door just as it opens.
All right. Anybody else on there with me, or is it just me on there?
It's everybody that's not Aspen, unless somebody tells me otherwise.
All right. Since I'm in the back, somebody I have an animal handling of 1. Who's up front? Want to handle that?
I have 2.
Better than mine.
Do I hear a 3? Yeah.
Greg's not cooing, so this is totally fine. Okay, I'll do it. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna use 5 honor points. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Druid 13.
Okay, I would like Zeph, I would like the deputy, and I would like Father Strider to each roll a d20, no modifiers. Let me know who's the lowest.
It's not me.
14.
Oh shit, Jason. Oh, shit, Jason.
Really?
Yeah, you got.
I legit saw the 20 and the 14. I was like, well, I'm fucked.
Where was that when I needed it?
It's right there. So as the cart goes through, just as it's ready to clear through the doors, the large siege doors, there's a skip in one of the wheels as it hits, and as the deputy is preparing to cast the spell to create the hazardous terrain, Thera, you feel yourself lift up for a second as you fall out of the stage and crash to the ground as you slide to a stop beside Aspen. Everybody else is swept free as you are laying prone. And I am going to give you a dexterity saving throw. DC 10. If you succeed, you're going to land on your feet. If you fail, you land prone.
Okay. Dex, making sure there's no special fall on your feet abilities that I have. And it doesn't look like that. All right, so straight Dex, eh?
Please. You land on your feet as you slide beside Aspen as the doors come open, and both of you, as your act of saving yourself from prone and Aspen's act of opening the door, result in both stagecoaches, by Jim and by Bob and by Driver and by hook and by crook, they make it free of the City of Splendors, now the City of Death. But just as that happens, over the crumbled remains of the sundered stones of the guard tower, the first of the zombies begin to pour. I need strength saving throws from both of you, please.
I'm gonna do mine with advantage.
I haven't got any honor in a while. Rock really likes me. Any honor out there? I'm begging. I'm to that point. Sorry. All right. What was I throwing? Strength?
Please.
Okay. Bam. Voila.
The first two that peel over the sides, the one hits Aspen as they kind of turn and twist, their forelegs skittering on this stone, and down they go. as the deputy who just landed on his feet turns and a second one hits and down he goes. And because they each have members of their ilk within 15 feet, I need you each to make a dexterity saving throw right now as they attempt to bolster their numbers.
Gonna use that advantage again.
All right, that was Dex. Come on, Dex, get up in here.
I got a nat 20, so 19.
Aspen, as you hold on to the one that's biting at you and you're able to push it to the side, you're still lying on your back. You turn just as a set of teeth sink into the neck of the deputy, the hands clawing at the chest where the badge is, and for a moment you see the badge in the hands of one of these infected, but it does not pull free. And the deputy, Daryl, you feel a bite sink into your neck. How much honor do you have, my friend?
I started with 15. I spent all 15.
You should have 20, so you have 5 left. You started at 3rd level.
There you go.
This is where the mechanic kicks in, that with honor that you have left because you are in proximity of an ally, you may take a round to hold off the horde. This gives... So, my friend, I would like you to roll an attack round, and Aspen, you are free of any reaction or attack opportunity from the horde, as the deputy is going to stand and hold them off in the gates of Waterdeep. But this is a narration that goes to Mal. Mal, tell us what you do, and don't worry about the dice.
Well, as the zombies sink in to my neck, I close my eyes, and I say a quick prayer to Azuth. And within the magic of Azuth, my deity, he has the power to grant a sort of a sanctuary where time freezes. And for a moment, time freezes, and Thero stops, and he pulls out what looks to be some sort of long boomstick. And he looks at it and he goes, Lara, I'm coming to you. I'm coming home. And I did the best I could, and I never gave up. And I won't give up now. And he looks over at Aspen, and he pitches it to her. And he goes, Azuth, be with you. And he turns, and he starts to build an ice wall. He starts to concentrate. He starts to push. Every last bit of water that is within his body, it expels, and it makes an ice wall between the horde and between my friend and between Mama. And he falls.
And that's exactly what happens. Aspen, as you're moving back, kind of crab crawling, you see Thero as he turns and summons all of this water, he himself drying out into just a husk that is not reanimated into one of the undead. Instead, the last of his life is sent into this wall. And as it forms, it begins to fill the cracks and the space of the banded doors that you had just moved. But it's not simply an ice wall, nor is it a wheel that doesn't hold. But as it forms and as it takes shape, it becomes embossed, and engraved, and it turns into a badge as you see the same shield that the deputy wore on his chest now becomes the shield by which he seals off the Horde from the retreating foundlings. Before we go, we're going to cut back downstairs for one last roll. Veneris, you are trapped. These creatures, while dull, are getting wise. What will you do?
Okay.
Actually, before you do that, as you are sitting there, and this stone is not moving, Jordan, it's Veneris' cot. You feel cold. And as you look up, you see ice lance down through the cracks in the seams as it runs down the length of the boulder that you're on. It slips beneath where your leg is trapped, and it expands, and like a jack beneath even a semi-truck, the ice lifts the rock and you feel your leg free. And as you pull your leg free, you see the zombies to your right and your left as they slow, as frost and ice creeps up their jaws and their gnashing teeth until they are nothing more than statues. Great sponsorship to the undead. But you are free. And you notice that while the ice holds the hue of normal frozen water, it bears the smell of salt water. Perhaps of a Triton. What do you do?
I give a silent prayer to our dear Triton friend, and then can I walk? Am I able to walk?
Yeah. We're gonna say you've taken 10 hit points of damage from it just being kind of bludgeoning damage, but you're able to free yourself. Yeah. I
am going to cast. I'm going to take a page out of my dear sister's book, and I'm going to cast Long Strider on myself, so I get a little bit speedier. And I want to take off, flying down the hallway, down the tunnel, grab the kids, and start looking for an exit.
As you rush up to them, moving quicker than you should be able to, Ketz, who is the smallest of all of Mother's children currently, jumps into your arms and shoulders up as her little legs come over, and Z is running with you, and you see that there are tears on even her hardened cheeks as she never thought to see you alive again. And she smiles and reaches over, and for the briefest of moments takes your hand and squeezes. And as you burst out of a personnel door on the outside of Waterdeep, everybody in the stagecoach is bearing witness to the frozen badge of the deputy. You see two children and your friend rush into the moonlight, and Ketz is flapping her arms on top of the shoulders of Veneris, and she is screaming, "Fly!" And that is where we will end this episode of The Fall of Faerun. Awesome. Jeez, oh Pete. All right, let me collect myself. Hey, everybody, whenever I get on Discord again and I'm like, hey, let's do a Meatgrinder thing where we kill a bunch of characters, be like, hey, Greg, remember when Ordis and Tyson and the deputy died? And I'll go, all right, let's not do that. And then I won't do that anymore. I mean, go around and talk to everybody as we decide how we're all doing and get ready to say goodbye to the deputy. Let's start in reverse order. Jason, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm emotionally drained, man. That was tough. That was some shit. Thero in using the moisture from his body to create the shield. That was great, man. That's some legend shit right there. And then the audience participation, saving asses left and right, man. I can't express how clutch our audience is. I've been on multiple streams and holy shit, you guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm done. I'm 4 episodes beyond where I thought I would get to. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
You know what, man? If you've got a little bit of extra room in that D&D Beyond account, I'd put Father Strider back. That old boy's got some rolls in him. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's drop down to Jordan. Jordan, how are you doing, my friend? And how's Veneris doing?
I'm speechless. I was ready to die. I was ready to go. I knew I wasn't making it out of there, and the audience, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Oh man, Veneris was scared for like the first time. I mean, he's never even left Mother's house, so this is like way above his pay grade. Oh man, I am so stressed and like emotional right now. This is amazing.
Awesome, my friend. And I was pretty sure the Legion is awesome. I saw that we had a lot of new and familiar faces in the Legion, and I appreciate them all, and came through on multiple occasions for many of the party, and that was just the best. Let's skip over Malvi and go to Audrey Aspen. Good rolls, good stuff, and I'm going to say this right now. Jason's played in a lot of D&D and DM'd a lot of D&D, and so have I. That was perhaps the most clutch use of Misty Step I've ever seen in my life, because that was that.
That's how you remember you leveled. That was fucking amazing. Oh yeah, I leveled. Peace.
People keep saving me. I thank you, but why? I feel like I'm just always I'm ready, and then it just doesn't happen, and now I don't know what to do. I just keep on keeping on, I guess, but save who you can.
Okay, well, there's no better segue to Lauren than that. Lauren, my friend, how are you doing? And we did answer the age-old question, how many giant eagles does it take to lift over a 6-team stagecoach? This is right, Aristotle asked many a millennia ago, and finally, we can put that old chestnut to rest.
I was just finally so happy to be able to cast every DM favorite spell, conjure animals. But I did my research. I had it ready to go. Hi, I had a great time. I can't believe I'm alive. You really can't. I'm Lauren. I'm That Salted Ginger over on Twitter. Team here at Tales from the Grim. You can find me here next week. Maybe surviving? Yeah.
This is where that hope starts to kick in, where we've had these 4 survive. I'm going to have to move the cameras around next week, because this position right here is not a lucky position. It is not. It's you. I apologize. And with that, I will go over to my buddy Mal. Mal, I'm going to say this first, man. From the intro to telling Mother about the fall of Ordis and Tyson to your end was about as epic a session as you could get for the good old boy. And I even liked the foul language to nothing. And because of that, we have one last bit of narrative. As the shield goes up, and as the badge becomes evident, and as it becomes apparent that the deputy is gone, Rock, the half-orc, stands beside the stagecoach. He looks up, and he doesn't lift his hand to cover his mouth. Oh, shit. And then he pulls a copper piece out of his pocket, and he puts it in a jar. So, my friend, I love the deputy. How are you doing, and how did you enjoy your time here in Fall of Faerun?
It was great. I had a great time. I've streamed lots of games, video games, and I've played lots of D&D, but I've never got to play D&D in this format with a bunch of people, and I had a great time. I hope I'll be able to do it again in the future. And so you guys let me know when you need another saucy Southwestern cowboy with mermaid abilities. Maybe I'll come up with a different one next time. I'd also like to point out a gaming mechanic for my centaur friend, that you have a shotgun in your possession now. I've got the stats on Roll20. They're ready for you to go. Also, if you find Barnacle, my horse, he's with the Eagles, there are 2 kegs of black powder just waiting for you. So I'd like to point that out. I had a great time. The character was a joy. One of my favorites of all time. I hope I didn't cuss too much for you. And I look forward to seeing the gang get away. We're going to win, guys. And at the end of this, when you're all dancing with Thero and our other 2 goners, we're going to have a hootenanny. Thanks a lot. Had a great time.
Hootenanny confirmed. I love it, I love it. And yes, Aspen, or Audrey Aspen, will be receiving the stats for the boomstick. So that's something. And while Mal was nice to say that there's a horse, Barnacle, with 2 kegs of black powder, I'll tell you mechanically, you have an exploding horse if you need one. So it's I mean,
and zombies apparently don't see them. So
tomato. Anywho, as far as I'm concerned, Greg Grimjack 21502 on the Twitters, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. I will let you know that Mal will obviously not be back with us next week, but Gambit will be back with us next week, as Gambit will be taking the seat. I'm switching the cameras. I'm just doing it. One of these seats will be Gambit, as Gambit comes in to see how far they can get in the Fall of Faerun. We are outside of the city of Waterdeep, the city of splendors. Only the pleasant ride to the north awaits. But we'll see how that goes next time. And I want to say a special thank you to all of my incredible legion who are always charging into the unknown, who are always here and invested and passionate. The passion in and of itself and the gasps in the chat, fantastic. You all are the best. Please join us on Discord if you have not done so. Please look straight down. You'll see our link to Discord. Join us there. We talk about all these and all of our other shows. We have fantastic things that are coming back. We're in kind of a season break right now, but we have Urban Shadows starting up in May, which is going to be GM'd by none other than our very own Zeph. Lauren will be taking over and doing a fantastic job. Great cast put together for that one. We also have the return of May Black Roses Bloom. We have a Q&A next Wednesday night. Please join us for that as well. We have Highlander. It's a Cypher Systems version. Highlander If on a Winter's Night on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. We've got Tall Squall and Bird vs. Plane and Pruitt and Alice from White Rabbit Pick, just a bunch of fun people. You all are fun people, so I'd like you to join us on Discord, and we can all be fun people together. And you can also remember to remind me and say, Greg, remember when all those cool characters died because you wanted to have a Meatgrinder? And I say, yeah. And you say, you're going to do that again? And I say, yeah. So
When
until
we play
next time.
the Fallen video, and remember the Fallen.
Right. In memoriam at the end of all of
That's
this. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. And watch out for zombies. They apparently are everywhere. Everywhere.